Keep in mind that if J.R. Wilco wants to actually contest everything I'm saying, or even tries to accuse me of some sort of harassment or what have you, he has to prove that his moderation was in good faith. He has to prove that the words that I said violated the terms and conditions on not just Pounding the Rock, but SB Nation. It's very difficult to do when he, as the moderator and editor-in-chief of Pounding the Rock, has erased our correspondence. He also has to prove that my online experience after our conversation is not in any way his fault. My job is to make sure that I do not continually harass him in any way, shape, or form. That is not what I intend to do. This is one video, and this is one video only. As a United States veteran that is diagnosed with depression, it is very possible and highly likely that his online moderation of our exchange has caused me the loss of a positive online community. This is my experience exactly as it happened, and I can only tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. First off, I want to apologize for the length of this video to any of the guys from Posting and Toasting, but this is the last time we're going to be corresponding, and I wanted to say what I needed to say and acknowledge certain posters. So please, I ask that you just allow this moment, or don't. It's fine. It's your life. Now, some of you guys on YouTube, the usual subscribers that I have on my video, you might be wondering, just why in the hell would I make a video about this? Why not just go to SB Nation itself and put a post up about how I feel? The reason I chose to do a video was because it's more personal. I just wanted people to hear my voice, because that's way better than written words. I felt that my family at Posting and Toasting deserves better than simple texting. I just wanted to give my best on the way out. So all I can say is indulge me for one video. I've been a member of Posting and Toasting since 2012. So what is that, like about 14 years? But my Knicks fandom goes back far longer than that. I was born in 1973, and my earliest memories were of the super cool looking Walt Clyde Frazier. I was probably about 5 or 6 when I saw the Clyde poster for Puma sneakers. So my immediate thought when I saw that poster was, whoever this guy is and whatever team that he plays for, that's the team I wanted to follow. And that's how I became a Knicks fan. Plus, Pumas were cool as hell. I mean, let's not even bullshit each other. Suede sneakers? Come on, man. The 1970s Pumas, that's a hood classic, just like Bally's and Kangos. But let me get the brass tacks here. Why am I saying goodbye to Posting and Toasting? And it's simple. Censorship and harassment initiated by this dude named J.R. Wilco. At least that's his tag, but as I kind of looked online to check this guy out, I guess that's his actual name. He's the editor-in-chief of a Spurs blog called Pounding the Rock on SB Nation. And SB Nation is an amalgamation of a bunch of different sports websites, all right? I was on this thread that you see on screen. Now, if you scroll down, you'll see this right here. This is the tag of the user J.R. Wilco. And he goes on to write, if the Spurs are your second favorite team, that's great. Please do me a favor and avoid post-game threads after Knicks wins, and avoid talking about officiating in any thread, regardless of who brings it up. Can you agree to that? Now, right under that, you should see the words, this comment has been removed by a moderator for violating our community guidelines. The reason you see that is because old J.R. Wilco has moderator privileges. He chose to erase the entire respectful exchange that me and him had. Respectful meaning no foul language or name calling or trolling, as the young folks call it. Now, why did he even say this initial statement? Let me summarize that real fast. I replied to someone else that the Spurs are my second favorite team, but the officiating has been clearly going in their favor since game 2. Now, this is the truth, not opinion. Again, this was me responding to someone else that brought up the subject. And that's when old JR wants to come in with his response. Now, my reply to JR's response was, okay, that's fair, but you're coming after the wrong guy. Remember, I was just responding to somebody else. All in all, there had to be like 6 responses between me and JR after our initial exchange. And one response, he pointed out that he appreciates diverse opinions. My reply to that was, that can't be the case, because you specifically stated that you don't want me replying at all about officiating. As you said, no matter who brings it up. I attempted to leave this dumbass online debate. And I said, look, don't worry about it. I noticed that the guy that even brought up officiating, a guy with the handle of Myth, that dude is a Spurs fan. And I noticed you're not coming after him, you're coming after me. So Spurs fans can do as they please. So JR Wilco replies, I will admit to a double standard and blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, now the truth comes to light. I said, if outside fans knew that in the first place, then this entire exchange would have never happened. You should put that on your blog rules. But I got it. I told him I know better and I'll do better in the future. Now, I thought that whole conversation was over, but he wanted to write something else, and I had to let him know that, look, I can't engage with you because what I'm noticing is you're erasing parts of our exchange. Yes, he was looking at the conversation and saw that I respectfully exposed his hypocrisy about 3 damn times. I said you shouldn't erase this exchange. It's a teachable moment for outside fans. You know what I'm saying? And then the comments that he erased, they reappeared. But this was all bullshit because he eventually erased the entire conversation. So what you see is what's left of that entire exchange. Ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. I want to make a quick update. It occurred to me to go on my computer to see if I would have a different experience. And lo and behold, when I go on my computer, the comments are still removed. However, you can actually see more of just JR Wilco talking to me. But you can't see any of my comments at all. And I told you, this was a conversation that I tried to leave numerous times, and you won't be able to see that because he removed everything that I said, but he left out what he said. And what you're not going to see is just what I pointed out before. The fact that I challenged him about erasing comments, and he put the comments back just to erase the rest of our exchange. There were more things that he said, and he got rid of them. So now that I've looked on my computer, what I believe that has possibly happened is that when a moderator removes comments of one particular poster too many times, it most likely triggers something with SB Nation. But again, I'm only guessing. It still doesn't absolve JR Wilco because his heavy-handed moderation set this thing off in the first place. So everything I'm saying is still pointed at his actions, 100%. Whether it's by negligence or what have you, doesn't matter. The last thing, which you can still see, I apologize to the poster called Myth, who corrected me on the fact that he didn't start the referee conversation in the first place. Someone else did. And as you can see, I replied to him. Now, me and Myth, zero problem. It's right there in your face. He was cool. You know what I mean? So that's when it happened. Never happened before the exchange with JR Wilco, but it happened directly after it. Every single time I post a comment on Posting and Toasting, which is a Knicks website, like I told you, it goes to this message. Your comment has been submitted and will be reviewed by a moderator. And this review can take 24 hours and more. So I can post up something and I'll get a message maybe 3 or 4 days later saying that my comment has been posted. Keep in mind that I emailed moderation at sbnation and never heard anything. I also tried submitting a complaint and the submit form didn't work. JR Wilco seems to be a bit of a public figure, like he's done podcasts, etc. He's on Reddit. I'm not choosing to put his picture up in my video because I'm very cognizant of the fact that the internet can be a very crazy place and people will do some very crazy things. And I am aware that a Spurs fan or two has been assaulted by some Knicks fans. You know, tensions are running very high with this series, especially consider the fact that the Spurs players are playing very dirty and everyone can see it. So again, I'm not going to put the guy's picture up or anything like that. It's not that serious. What I also noticed is that posts that mention his name won't get through moderation unless I do a fan post. So it's almost like he himself is moderating my post, but that can't be. Usually moderation is AI driven. But you never know. I mean, this is a guy that was erasing his own comments to make sure that no one ever sees what happened. That's the kind of online power that this guy has. Now, keep in mind, he could have banned me because even though I was respectful in my discourse, the trolling rule is arbitrary. Any of these editors and chiefs of these particular SB Nation websites, they could ban you just because you're a fan of another team or just saying something that they don't like. If they want to be dicks, they could be dicks. But this dude, in his exchange, that he could ban me, but he wouldn't. It wouldn't have been right if he did. But at that point in the exchange, he was trying to show that he would rather agree to disagree. And that's cool. That's what two men are supposed to do. And then we walk off. Even now, I'm not banned from pounding the rock at all. I could go to the Spurs website and comment. I'm just moderated and censored in any and every sports site on SB Nation from now on. Now me, I could have shot an email to someone I know at Vox Media who owns SB Nation. I could have let this person know that I had an exchange with the editor-in-chief of one of his sports sites. I could have pointed out that the exchange was respectful and that I broke no rules. And yet this person has found a way to censor me, and that the censorship falls under a legitimate form of harassment. Bottom line is, with an email to the right person, and believe me, I know the right person, I could possibly take away a part of J.R. Wilco's livelihood. These are the days and times where online discourse can get you fired. And he knew that shit. Maybe it wouldn't have cost him his position, but it was not a good look. Now here's a bit of irony because, as I said, I'm a veteran. When you sign your life on the X, folks, you agree to fight for the freedom of all Americans. That means the poor, the rich that you don't agree with, the races you don't agree with. You also fight for those who take a shot at you when your back is turned. And I'm sure the first thing he would say is that he doesn't know anything about my issues with moderation. Because you got to remember, this is a guy who erases comments that make him look bad and show his true nature. So I've had no choice but to leave SB Nation. And that includes my favorite websites of hosting and toasting and cage side seats for the wrestling fans, Pounding the Rock as well, which I have a history of posting there. You know what I'm saying? I never had no problems there before this. This moderation situation has turned into something even more interesting because now I see that there are comments that I have made to people on posting and toasting that have been erased. Now, this is no longer moderation. This is harassment. And I figured that's exactly what it is. This is something personal. With this screenshot right here, as I'm talking to Polyphonics Freewell, there was another part of the conversation where I told him about my friendship with the Secretary of the United Nations. That's been deleted. Then there's another post that was made by Mr. Lasada of Posting and Toasting, talking about the referee biases, as well as missed calls and dirty plays by Wimby. It was in this same thread that I brought up my issues, not just with the referees, but with J.R. Wilco of Pounding the Rock. During that exchange with Mr. Lasada, he informed me that the only time he really engaged with J.R. Wilco was at the beginning of this series. He said he really didn't know the guy. Again, this was an entire exchange of probably about 4 posts. All of those posts are now erased from the thread. So I'm just going to put this out here. You never know what kind of freaky abilities that anyone on the internet has. There's plenty of people on the internet that are computer scientists or have the technical knowledge to do this kind of thing. But my thing is this, if J.R. Wilco had not been so heavy-handed with his moderation, then someone else, most likely a Spurs fan that observed his behavior, would not have taken it this far. Leadership matters, bottom line. Now I can officially say that I am harassed on SB Nation. And I'm definitely going to make it known so that no one else has to go through this. I don't have any idea how long this censorship will last on SB Nation. And obviously now, I don't intend to find out. And if I'm being completely honest, the heavy-handed moderation of SB Nation as a whole has been bothersome since 2020. For any editor-in-chief to have the ability to arbitrarily censor you indefinitely on an entire sports site without any kind of due process is complete bullshit. I chose to make this video after the finals because win or lose, it'll be a fitting time for me to leave. I want to segue for 1 second. I want you guys to understand that this is not a flex. This is me trying to give a teachable moment to any younger Knicks fan out there, human being, something you can take with you through life. All right. So here goes. I'm 52 years old. And what a lot of people don't realize is that actually means I've lived over half a century. So during all of that living, I've worn a lot of hats and I've gotten to know a lot of people. So when I say I know something or I'm friends with someone, I don't lie. Years ago on PNT, I told everyone they're going to trade Kristaps Porzingis, or as we know him, KP or Unisnake. Most thought I was crazy because that was our unicorn at the time. That's the last thing that we thought the Knicks would do. But then they traded KP, right? How did I know this? I know a couple of the team's trainers on the Knicks because I've been a personal trainer myself for 20 years. We all talk to each other as trainers, at least those of us that are really good trainers. Now, I'll tell you something that every personal trainer knows. As you become a better trainer, the clientele becomes more interesting. It's not just that you make more money. Your reputation as a trainer begins to precede you. Most of my clientele were New Yorkers that came from all walks of life. Any trainer will tell you, clients can become real friends. That's a fact. You're helping them get healthy. You're changing their lives. They pay you, yes, but oftentimes they really appreciate what you've done for them. And then before you know it, you'll have some pretty influential and interesting people on your phone. And I'm no exception. The other thing that opened doors for you is being a Verizon field technician. Because if you worked in Manhattan like I did for 11 years, you're literally responsible for the communication lines of companies, Fortune 500 type, the New York Stock Exchange, banks, etc. These companies then and now communicate via phones. These same phones are used by CFOs, CEOs, regular working folks, etc. And these guys are happy as hell when you fix their lines or restore their service. Now, if you're a curious and engaging sort of guy like myself, you can meet and befriend all kinds of people. So when I told my man, Polyphonic Spreewell, on Posting and Toasting, that I'm friends with the former Secretary of the United Nations, here's the original card she gave me so many years ago. I blocked out her number, of course. Now, flip the card over, that's her personal message to me at the time. And you'll see her signature, and you'll see it says for friendship. And then next to that is my government name. That connection happened because I care about people, not just in America, but all over the world. And I impressed her with my knowledge of the African continent and possible solutions to certain issues. If I closed my mouth or was censored, that friendship and conversation never happens. I met her not at some important place like Wall Street or the New York Stock Exchange. It was at 275 Madison Avenue on the ground floor. I saw this short lady and I said, she has that quiet strength. So me and her vibed real easy, real quick. When she walked away after giving me her card with her number, my man Casper, the security guard at the time, he shook his head at me and said, "Damn, that's a power play, brother." And he ain't lie. It's all about speaking to people, coming to a common ground, not being censored. If I need tickets for AEW as a wrestling fan, I could call this guy. Not email him, call him on his cell phone. If you don't know wrestling, that's Adam Edge Copeland. How did this happen? I talked to people. At the time, it was via an Instagram post. I gave him a comment that he thought was interesting. He in turn commented on a picture of my dad going to heart surgery, wishing him and me well. He said he never saw his own father. And I said, yeah, neither did I. But thankfully, God blessed me with another man to step up. I don't know what type of man I would be without my dad. And me and him, we talked from there. First online messaging, then eventual phone call. We both have young kids and we both are helicopter dads. We can all relate. It doesn't matter. As long as we ain't censored, as long as there's no bullshit ass racial or whatever hell division. I can keep pointing out people I got connections with, people that wouldn't mind looking out for me as best they can. I've earned that goodwill because I'm not a bad person. So when I say that I could have sent an email to a certain individual at Vox who could have possibly gotten someone to look into my situation, I'm not lying, but I chose not to. Because when people that like you find out that you're being harassed, they have a tendency to go scorched earth, and I don't want that shit. In order for us to get better, we have to have some hard and honest conversations. We're not going to be better as a society of human beings. And I use the term loosely for some, but censorship kills that possibility of ever having quality discourse. Consider this, even a white power rally lets you see the problem. If you censored that rally, then it would simply fester and boil. No, fuck that shit. I want to see the problem. Then we could take steps to eliminate it. Censorship is bullshit and it's potentially deadly. I guess the only thing to do is to wrap some things up. Matthew Miranda, I love your writing. What else can I say? You know, we all do, but I care about you as a human being first. With that said, you have my number for years now, and you have my email. Don't let things get too dark before you use it. Russell Richardson, thank you for purchasing my book, Isis Omega, as I purchased yours. One good turn deserves another. I hope you enjoy the writing on The Savage Sword of Conan. The OGs, I dig you guys. Though I've never met you, I can sense your wisdom and the limited words you both have written through the years. All of the older fans on Posting and Toasting, I gravitate to you guys the most. Maruju, you know, it's crazy because everybody calls him Heems, so. But anyway, it was nice meeting you, man. Thank you for allowing me to have a part in your creative vision, even though I still ain't ever see that movie that you did with me in it. I'm assuming it never saw the light of day. I don't know. But look, you tried, and that's the best thing you could have ever done. And one thing I do remember about that day on that set, you really have some good friends, man. And they came out for you. You know what I mean? I hope you still have those connections, and I hope they last for the rest of your life, man. All zingers, it's your time. That's all I'm gonna say, it's your time. Lastly, Seth Rosenthal, the creator of Posting and Toasting. You will always be the main man. We have so much love and respect for the years of writing and for creating this platform for all of us Knicks fans and emotional nutcases that we are. I will go to my fucking grave acknowledging that the greatest piece of sports writing was written by Seth Rosenthal, March the 26th, 2014. What is the matter with you people? My God, anybody that's not a fan of the Knicks or you just happen to be listening to this video, yo, find that shit. It will have you dying. It was incredible. Last but not least, a quick epilogue. If my voice sounds different, it's because I recorded this particular part of the video days later than the previous part of the video. The Knicks are now the 2026 NBA champions. Fate and destiny are real moments in time, folks. The more biographies you read, the more evident this truth becomes. I speak about it in this video on my ASMR page, among other questions that I give an opinion on. And let me tell you, the best way to recognize these particular moments in your own life and the lives of others is when you experience what's called bitter pills, the moments that you can't control, no matter how hard you try. As the saying goes, a bitter pill is tough to swallow. I watched it with moments in my own life, and I watched it in sports with Michael Jordan, consistently stopping other teams and players from ever winning the championship he and the Chicago Bulls were destined to win. And of course, my New York Knicks played victim numerous times to his destiny. This time, we all were witness to the destiny of the New York Knicks. This was a Knicks team that faced adversity and dysfunction during the season just to come together during losses to the Atlanta Hawks. They then went on to defeat the Hawks and crush the 76ers and the Cleveland Cavaliers, setting NBA records that may never, ever be broken. Fate and the will of the universe was already showing you evidence of its existence. But for the blind, fate did one better. The New York Knicks of 2026 faced a Spurs team that was younger and dynamic, complete with an unusually tall and dirty player. In addition to this, the Knicks of 2026 had to endure the blatant referee bias towards them during the Spurs series. This bias and dirty play is evident in numerous clips online. It's real. It happened, and now it's history. You cannot stop what is meant to happen. Now, let me get on my New York shit for a second, because I've been real nice so far. This next shit I'm gonna say is only to the Spurs fans that I encountered on Pounding the Rock that showed arrogance with the Knicks are not that good, we just keep letting them win. No, the Spurs lost. In one game, they even lost in historic fashion. They lost despite the NBA trying its best to extend the series and make more money. Whatever bright future the Spurs have, it no longer matters. Because after 53 years, the New York Knicks have won what is rightfully theirs. So all you Spurs fans that are arrogant like the silence folks can suck on these New York nuts. Let them rest on your chins. Wimby clown ass too. Oh, I'm in your head. I'm in your head. Nah, motherfucker. These New York nuts is on your fucking chin, motherfucker. Oh, we gay as fuck right now. But it don't matter. LGBTQIA NBA NUTs on you arrogant Spurs fans' faces. Yes. Yes. Okay. Now, the nice, the respectful Spurs fans, thank you for all your well wishes. Appreciate it. Y'all get daps all around. It was a hell of a series, wasn't it? Now, most people on Posted and Toasted don't know what one another looks like, and I don't want to be a public figure. So here's a compromise. The mask is my farewell to cage side seats on SB Nation. I was a proud lurker for many years. The championship ring is for all my family at Posted and Toasting. We did it. All of the crying, all of the bitching, all of the complaining, all of the ups and downs during games where the Knicks were fucking up royally. It all came to this. The middle finger is for all you moderators that are dicks. Go suck on yourselves. Fuck out of here.